Hello guys and welcome to a new episode of the Football Show. As today we're going to talk about yesterday's Premier League game that happened yesterday, and also today's Premier League games and other games in Europe. But let's start with yesterday's games. One of them was in the Premier League, Friday night football between Leeds United and Nottingham Forest. A huge win. Obviously, both of them are involved in relegation, to stay in relegation with West Ham as well. And Leeds United had a fantastic win, a very important win over Nottingham Forest 3-1. And Leeds United were on fire in that first half. They were winning 2-0. Bogle, Okafor with the goal, and then Dominic Calvert-Lewin continues his very good season so far. He's had so far for Leeds United with the third goal. And Leeds United were looking very good. They were looking comfortable. However, I would say, this game was decided, like, in some ways teams taking their chances, because I felt like Nottingham Forest had some chances as well in this game, but I think Leeds United were more decisive, and also with the crowd behind them, it helped them in this game. And Leeds United, if I'm not mistaken, I think except the Arsenal game last week, I don't think they've lost many home games this season, if I'm not mistaken. So against Leeds, against Arsenal, against Tottenham, against Aston Villa, but I think except those results, I don't think they've lost many home games this season. They lost like only 3 or 2, something like that. So they've been very strong at home, and this game for sure helped them. Very good win for Leeds. Very important win considering they started trying to stay in the relegation fight. They're now 9 points clear of West Ham, and considering Nottingham Forest lost, it's an opportunity for West Ham to take the points against Burnley away, which is a game that West Ham should win, but who knows? Burnley, I think they're going to be like 11 points behind, so it's going to be difficult for them. So it's a great opportunity for West Ham to capitalise on Nottingham Forest losing to another team who you could say they were involved in a relegation fight. West Ham to win the game against Burnley. So it's a very good win, very important win for Leeds United, considering they are 9 points clear now of West Ham, even though after West Ham could win their game against Burnley. So very important win for Leeds. For Nottingham Forest, I mean they've not been like at the start when Sean Dyche came in October. They had some good games. They were doing well to some extent in Europa League, etc. They were winning 3-0 against Liverpool, but then their form has dropped off like in the last 2 months. They being out of the FA Cup by Wrexham. They lost a couple of games in the Europa League as well. So yes, I know they got that good win over Brentford a couple of weeks ago away from home, which Brentford is not the easy side to play against. And they got a draw against Crystal Palace, even though despite they were down to 10 men. So they've had some good results, but it's like I don't think they've been as good as I thought they would be a bit more, because you look at this Nottingham Forest side, it's not a relegation looking side. It's not. Same team that qualified for Europe last season, and most stages of the season they were going to qualify for the Champions League. So yeah, I think this was also kind of a missed opportunity for Nottingham Forest to take some points in this game against Leeds, considering they are trying to stay up as well. So yeah, but a very good win, very important win for Leeds United, and yeah, missed opportunity for Sean Dyche's side. Let's move on to today's games in the European leagues. First one, the Premier League. We'll stay in the Premier League. First game, Manchester United against Tottenham. Manchester United in a good form. They've won the last 3 games against United, Arsenal, and the last minute goal from against Fulham from Benjamin Šeško. And yeah, like United, they've been a good run of form. They've been a kind of a new manager bounce mood under Michael Carrick. It's a bit like years ago with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but you have to say the performances have been very good. Against Man City, against Arsenal, they were fantastic. Against Fulham, I don't think they were as good as they were in the first 2 games against City and Arsenal. But despite they threw away 2-goal lead, they still managed to respond to it and score the winning goal. So, but this is another big game for United, where they play against Tottenham. Tottenham, we all know sometimes they might have a small club mentality where they play against the big teams and they step up, whereas against the small teams they don't turn up. So yeah, they had a good fight back, good comeback against Manchester City. They obviously doing well in Champions League, but in the Premier League they've been very disappointing. They're all, by the way, if Burnley win their game, if West Ham win their game and Tottenham lose against Man United, Tottenham will be only 6 points away from the relegation zone. So that tells you everything you need to know about Tottenham's season so far in the domestically. Whereas United, they're obviously fighting to get top 4. They're only 5 points away from Aston Villa, by the way. So they, again, like Aston Villa, they've been fantastic this season, but they're starting to lose some games a little bit. So I think if they drop a little bit more and United keep winning, who knows? Maybe United could get third even as well, and Aston Villa could be even dragged to that top 4, top 5 fight. So who knows? But again, this is a very important game for United and for Tottenham, of course. And for United, obviously they're at home with their fans, with their crowds. I expect them to win. Will not be easy because obviously Tottenham will try to turn up, and obviously Tottenham have a very good record against Manchester United. I think in the last 2 years, I think. And obviously one of them came from where Tottenham won the Europa League last season against Manchester United, 1-0. So yeah. So I expect Tottenham to turn up as well, and I expect United to turn up. Both teams like to attack and try to score goals. Defensively, both are kind of, let's say, kamikaze a little bit. So yeah, I expect United to win with their form, with their crowd as well at home, in their backside. I expect United to win, so I'm going for a 2-0 win for Manchester United. Arsenal against Sunderland. Arsenal, in the last 2 games they've been back to winning ways, or I should say the last 3 games, because they also won against Kairat. They beat Leeds United though last week 4-0 in a good fashion, and they won against Chelsea by going through to the Carabao Cup final. They kept 2 clean sheets in the last 2 games, and they've got a important game coming up against Sunderland today. If they win against Sunderland, they will go 9 points clear, and who knows, if City drop points against Liverpool, then it could be 8-9 points for Arsenal. So, and I wouldn't doubt that gap could be to 8-9 points, considering how City are performing right now, if I'm being very honest. So yeah, West Sunderland, they've been fantastic this season. They're 8th in the Premier League, but they've been fantastic. Obviously at home they've been absolutely fantastic. They are at home. They are I think they're the best team in terms of losses, because they haven't lost any games at home this season. Even Arsenal, who've been fantastic at home this season, they lost against Manchester United. So yeah, West Ham, however, they've had difficult some games away from home where they should have done better. Losing away to West Ham, losing 3-0 to Brentford. The away record haven't been that good as their home record, which is kind of understandable, especially for a promoted side going to the Premier League. But they've been fantastic this season. They gave a very good fight to Arsenal a couple of months ago, when they ended that run of winning games and keeping clean sheets, where we all thought at some stage that Arsenal wouldn't even ever concede a shot on target even. So yeah, but again, I think Arsenal, they should win this game against Sunderland with the qualities they have compared to Sunderland. But again, it won't be an easy game. Sunderland is a very good team. They're well structured, well organized team. Xhaka coming back to Emirates, he might have a point to prove there as well. So yeah, I think it's going to be a very, it could be a tricky game for Arsenal. Sunderland, I'm pretty sure they'll give a good fight. They will try to play with a low block. So this is, let's see how Arsenal can cope with it, because sometimes we might see them struggle against low block sides. So let's see how they're going to cope with it. Arsenal. So, but I expect Arsenal to win this game. I think Arsenal should win. It won't be easy because Sunderland will, like I said, will play with a low block. But I expect with the qualities that Arsenal have in the attack, even though they haven't scored a lot of goals in the attack, like I said, Gyökeres, etc. I expect them to win. So I'm going for a 1-0 win for Arsenal. Next game. Sorry. Next game we've got Burnley against West Ham. A very important game for both clubs. More importantly for West Ham. For Burnley, maybe if they win, they might still have a chance, but they will be 8 points behind, which is a big gap. But who knows? But very important for West Ham. I'm going for a two. I'm actually going for a 2-2 draw. That one. Fulham against Everton. I'm going for a 2-1 win for Fulham. Bournemouth against Aston Villa. A very important game for Aston Villa to bounce back, considering they lost last week against Brentford at home, and they'll play against the Bournemouth away side, who, you know, they've been starting to get back to their good form. You know, winning against Liverpool, winning against Wolves. So, can they win another game as well against Aston Villa, who've been fantastic this season? Who knows? But my score prediction, I'm going for 2-0 win for not 2-0. I'm actually going for a 1-1. I want to be creative sometimes. I don't want to be boring. 1-1 draw. Wolves against Chelsea. Yeah, easy win for Chelsea, that one. 3-1 win for Chelsea. No disrespect to Wolves, even though I'm disrespecting. You know, they're doomed to get relegated. They started to pick up some form in the last couple of weeks, but they went back to their default settings against Bournemouth in the last game. So Chelsea, if you look at if you exclude the games against Arsenal, in the other games they've won all of their games. Going forward, they've been very good. However, defensively they can improve. But it's a game, yeah, they should win. So I'm going for a 3-1 win for Chelsea. Final game, Newcastle against Brentford. Very important game for both sides. I mean, Newcastle, they're not in the best position in the Premier League. Brentford have been fantastic this season, obviously with Keith Andrews doing a very good job, and obviously they are one of the most efficient teams in terms of set pieces and throw-ins and defending. So this is going to be something that Newcastle is going to have to cope with, and I say that because obviously one of their players, Golden, was saying that the Premier League has become more basketball match and more throw-ins based and set pieces based. So let's see, he and his team are going to cope with it, yes or no. So let's see. And Brentford are that kind of team who relies on set pieces, etc. So, which is not a problem. So, yeah, but let's see what happens. But it's a very important game for Newcastle. They have to get back to winning ways, considering, you know, they got knocked out of the Carabao Cup. They've lost the last couple of games in the Premier League, losing to Liverpool, losing to Aston Villa, and they've got really tricky games coming up. You know, because after the Brentford game, they've got Tottenham away, they've got Aston Villa away in the FA Cup, they have to go to Azerbaijan in the Champions League to Karabakh. They have to play Manchester City away, then they're gonna have to play Karabakh in the second leg. They've got really tricky fixtures from today until the 24th of February. So it's going to be very important for Newcastle to win this game before they head to a crazy number of away games. Crazy number of away games where it's like in 3 competitions, especially Tottenham away, Manchester City away, but also in the cup competition, FA Cup, like a team like against Aston Villa, who are a very good team, and also to Azerbaijan. So yeah. Will they win though? I think Newcastle will win. They're at home, so I expect them to win. But who knows? I think Brentford are a good team. They might give them some problems. So I'm going for a 2-1 for Newcastle United. You look at the other games in other European leagues. Napoli away to Genoa. Napoli are 9 points behind Inter. So if they want to have any chance, they're going to have to keep winning. They have to win a lot of games from now until the season if they want to still have a chance to win the title. And then you've got, who else you've got? La Liga. Other games in La Liga. Yeah, Barcelona playing against Real Mallorca. I expect them to win that game easily. They're at home. They're in good form. Mallorca, they are 14th, fighting for relegation. They're only 2 points above the relegation zone, so obviously they have something important to play for, but also Barcelona also fighting for the title. So might not be easy game because Mallorca will try to defend and play with a low block, but I expect Barcelona to win that one as well. So yeah, with the qualities they have, and they're at home as well. That's it guys, thank you, I wish you have a nice day, see you next time, and goodbye.